that I'm throwing in the wishing well. I'm losing control, body and soul, standing here waiting for a train that may never come. I saw the signs, I read the book, I should have had a second look. But boy, you caught me dreaming. And there were times you'd come around and we'd agree just to be friends. Tell me who was fooling. Ooh, deep waters, I'm drowning in. Deep waters, slowly drowning in. Deeper, deep waters, I'm drowning in. Deep waters, slowly drowning in. Deeper.
Yes. Thank you. Welcome to another great show of APN TV Media. We have a lot in store for you today. As a matter of fact, our first guest, international guest today, will be Graciano Alexis Blanco Freitas. His translator will be Marcos of the Little Frenchman. I believe that's, if I said that correctly, Little Frenchman. He is dynamic, so let's go further than that. His book called Wandering Souls, it's in depth. This here talks about pretty much of I can call it psychological time travel.
Right.
Okay, which is really interesting, very interesting, with involving hypnosis. Now, our second author, his name, he's a champion swimmer and a college grad. His name is Andrew McCollister. That's it, right? McCollister?
Yes, you did.
Okay, that's here in the States. And his book is entitled Beneath the Surface. And Beneath the Surface, that's another intense book because it talks about, a person's life and seeking to find find his identity. So this is going to be really, really a strong show today, program. Well, anyway, anything you have to say today?
Well, I'm just saying that locally, Joe Bellino's been doing a great job for us, trying to get insurance rates lowered and fight the opioid crisis, among other things.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's
Yep.
good. That's good. Hey, but you know what? I'll tell you what, without further ado, we'll be right back after these messages. Thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Actually, on our first guest, Graciano Alexis Blanco Freitas. Marco, can you hear us?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent, excellent. I did pronounce the author's name right?
Yes, this is Graciano Blanco.
Hi.
He wrote, he's the author of the book in Spanish called Recuerdos de Almas Peregrinas. If you see here, here is the cover, the book in Spanish. You know?
Oh, okay.
He's the original one.
Yes, yes. But that's the one in Spanish. It's still Wandering Souls?
See, this is the translation, Wandering Souls.
Is it both books are the same?
Yes, the same.
Okay, do me a favor. Hold both books up so that you have all viewers to see it in English and in Spanish.
Uh-huh.
You see that?
Yes.
Yes. So Wandering Souls, and the other one, it's the same. It's called Recuerdos.
Recuerdos de Almas Peregrinas.
Excellent, excellent. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. So we got a versatile international book here. Very good, very good.
Yes, well, you can see many videos of Graciano around the web, you know, in Russia, China. Anyway, in fact, he's the hostess of the documentary called Sacred Hearts.
Oh, very good. Very good, very good. Yes, you know what? Without further ado, Graciano, tell us about yourself and, a little bit about yourself.
Que le digas algo acerca de ti.
Bueno, me inicié hace muchos años en la escritura. He publicado muchos libros, he hecho documentales, he ido a la televisión y he escrito sobre temas que van relacionados con la parapsicología y regresiones.
Well, he says that he started his career as a writer a couple of years ago, and he's investigated as a paranormal researcher, and he has some documentaries, interviews, everything about this aspect about regressions, past lives, past existences. In fact, he's a researcher, plus a writer as well.
Excellent. Excellent. Go ahead, Bob.
You know what Graciano does reminds me, or what he's investigating reminds me somewhat of the things that Edgar Cayce did, where his wife would hypnotize him and he would go into a trance and tell the people who wrote to him what was causing their physical problems and what happened to them in past lives and things of that nature.
Yes, in a kind, because he used as a tool or methodology of regression, to heal emotional traumas from the people, and to find or to see as an explanation for possible conflicts in the present that could be originated in the past,
Yes.
That sounds, yes, very reasonable, very good. Now, how long has Graciano been doing this?
¿Cuánto tiempo has tenido haciendo esto?
Por espacio de 25 años.
Well, he has been doing this about 25 years, for 25 years.
Wow. Oh, so that's a great deal of experience. He's learned a lot in that time, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. Que has vivido cosas interesantes.
Sí.
Sí, yes, absolutely. He has a lot of experience in the field, many memories, anecdotes, and stories.
Well, here's one for you. As a tool or methodology of regression retreated in the work, hypnosis, does it have any therapeutic value in it?
Que sí, no, si tienen algún valor terapéutico.
Sí, efectivamente la hipnosis tiene un valor terapéutico porque funciona como un polígrafo psíquico, donde se evidencia el relato y la veracidad de la información cuando uno hace los contactos en el tiempo, hacia el pasado.
Obviously, it has a great therapeutic value, which is proved into the medical history. And as I told you before, this tool, helps to eradicate subconscious trauma, emotional or spiritual conflicts, and make the person release any pain, debts, or frustrations or past existences.
Wow, incredible. The evidence in the existence of extrasensory phenomena. Could you explain that a little bit to your readers and viewers about the extrasensory phenomena?
All right. Que se puede explicar la existencia de este
Evidence
fenómeno.
of the existence of it.
Sí, a lo largo de las comunicaciones, la persona funge como un medio de comunicación hacia otras realidades. Y cuando uno hace contacto con esas realidades, se evidencian fenómenos paranormales, cambios de temperatura, manifestaciones, movimientos de objetos y otras cosas más.
What he says is that the person who's going through regression is like a vehicle or a means, from other realities, It's like a link. When the connection is established, or the communication established with the past, and you see many events put in manifesto. The temperature goes up, and the door can be open, some opens, and many strange things happen.
Well, this goes into Scientology. Basically, Scientology, the psychology in Scientology, which is the. In other words, is there any type of science contribution within this work? Because I know there's research in this book.
Well, look, these words, the book, tiene alguna relación con psicología.
Sí, el libro está estrechamente relacionado con la psicología y lo que es la psiquiatría, porque ayuda a esbozar y encontrar problemas de una manera muy inmediata, cosa que tardarían muchos psiquiatras y psicólogos por años, mientras que el método de la regresión de forma terapéutica con la hipnosis va directamente al problema de su consciente.
Well, from the point of view of psychiatry and psychology, this book helps to understand the behavior of a human being. On the other hand, gives you, proof of the externalization of the special subconscious, something that you can, if the patient have any problem, can be sorted out, not quickly, but faster than any psychiatry or psychology can take about time.
Bueno.
And, now, there was, in the United States, the United States government used to have some people who did remote viewing. Now, I read about this online. They would get into the right frame of mind, hypnotized, I believe, and picture what was happening in Russia, and they would see what was actually happening. Now, does Graciano get involved in that also, something similar to that?
All right, let me ask. Si tú estás envuelto en Estados Unidos, hay una serie Hipnosis, donde tú puedes ver lo que están haciendo ahorita en Rusia o en China o tal vez.
Sí, efectivamente, cuando se trabaja con la hipnosis, esa es una forma de comunicación. Son las nuevas redes sociales de conexión directa. Entonces, existe algo que se llama la visión remota, es decir, que se pueden ver acontecimientos en tiempo real hacia el futuro y hacia el pasado.
Well, it's quite interesting what he's saying, because he says that through hypnosis, you can establish what is remote connection. So you can see futures ahead and future in the past and future at the time. What you're saying is something that he is familiar with remote conditions, seeing through synopsis what is happening in China or what is happening in the United States now that we are in Canary Island. And he suggests that this is the new social network, in a sense.
All right.
Because
Thank
you can connect and you can see what the others is doing at that time, the time being. And plus, you can see future ahead as something in the past.
Uh-huh.
It's quite dense, isn't it?
That is interesting. Yes. Now, is any of this contrary to the religious beliefs of some of the churches that you know of, or does this fall right in line with everything that they are saying?
Si viola alguna ley moral, alguna iglesia.
No, eso no atenta con la creencia. Por el contrario, es un libro que esa experiencia está relacionada con el amor, la familia y sobre todo la evolución del ser humano desde el punto de vista espiritual, psíquico y mental.
Well, it reflects only the love for the family and the belief of a supreme being, as well as the transcendence of the spirit in successive incarnation for his evolution. So it doesn't violate any credence or any religion
Well,
or religious belief.
well, and I did not think it did either. I mean, after all, in the New Testament, Jesus said that John the Baptist was the reincarnation of Elias. So if John the Baptist could be reincarnated, I would suspect all of us have been at one point or another.
But reincarnation?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting, touchy subject there.
That might be.
Well, we can it's believed that we reincarnate and we come from past existences, and perhaps in one way. In the past, I was American, now I'm French, the guy is Spaniard, and perhaps was Chinese. Who knows?
Well, it could be. Yes.
So we're saying basically in that retrospect, then actually we're going to, through the path of hypnosis, we can actually see our past existence. If we're talking about reincarnate also, that means going before the womb. According to inside the book, according to the trailer, which we'll be looking at pretty soon, coming up, that the past existence that we have before pregnancy would be of, well, again, yeah, of a reincarnated knowledge. Is that correct?
Okay.
I don't even know how we even got that far into it.
Cómo reencarnaron, quién eran.
A través de la hipnosis se puede monitorear de acuerdo a la expresión del subconsciente en el tiempo en el cual fue regresada la persona y puede evidenciar si estamos frente a una vida pasada o una memoria del inconsciente colectivo o una memoria individual.
So through synopsis we can see our subconscious remembrances, and we can identify if that past existence is ours or belongs to the collective memory, you know.
Very good. Yes.
Because I mean, and that's it. Because we have talked that a lot. Many people, when go through hypnosis, start to express, I was Napoleon, I was Julius Caesar, and in fact, perhaps they were not. Just that they lived at that time, and that's quite different, you know?
Oh, yes.
Yes, well,
Very different. That doesn't mean that if I live in Napoleon time, that doesn't mean that I Napoleon Bonaparte, no. Or I'm Julius Caesar, no. Perhaps you live at that time, and you think on belief. But for that reason, you have to be very careful, because it's quite, we have to stress this. When you bump people on the street and start to speak about this, they say, "Oh, I was a big king, big musician," but nobody tells you I wasn't a slave or I was a beggar or nothing. Just something many people always say they were so remarkable.
Yes.
And perhaps they were too or not. I'm not telling you, but perhaps they identify the collective memory with a personal one, and that you have to establish the difference.
Oh, yes.
But this does fall in line with psychology, psychiatry, and parapsychology. In parapsychology, is there a certain type of difference in that between regular psychology and parapsychology? It's just something I'm kind of curious.
Right, let me know. Que se hay una diferencia entre psicología psiquiátrica para psicología por el libro.
Sí, en el libro se evidencia que con el respeto de la psicología y lo que es la psiquiatría, cada uno en su campo, pero para la parapsicología es como más amplia en el sentido de tratar fenómenos extrasensoriales que ocurren en la persona, expresiones del subconsciente que no están, digamos, identificadas en el punto de vista de la psiquiatría y la psicología. Es más libre la identificación.
Well, in parapsychology, you can identify some phenomena, paranormal, something that in psychology or in psychiatry are not treated or not well identified, because the parapsychology is an open field for this, And it's what in the book is shown, it's proof, it's evidence.
Okay, bueno. And everybody, I tell you what, we have an astounding trailer of Wandering Souls by Graciano. And I tell you what, Graciano Alexis, and we'll be right back after this.
Es posible que a través de las regresiones y como una técnica de apoyo a través de la hipnoterapia podemos realizar un viaje a través del tiempo, un viaje que está relacionado con todas las memorias que van más allá del útero materno, las memorias que están en el útero materno y después de nuestro nacimiento, memorias que se ven alteradas por cada época de la gestación de lo que es el desarrollo de un ser humano. Todas estas investigaciones de una vida que está en el pasado, de una vida del útero materno y de una vida del tiempo presente, inclusive con una experiencia con la muerte, personas que murieron y regresaron del umbral, se pueden encontrar en el libro Manifestaciones del Ser, Recuerdos de Almas Peregrinas y Regresión más allá de la muerte.
Welcome back. Okay, for everybody, I want to I want to clarify, straighten something out here. Actually, it's Wandering Souls by Graciano Alexis Blanco Frietez, translated from the original title, Recuerdo de Almas Peregrinas. The translation is by the Little French eBooks, and it's published by the Little French eBooks. In other words, how do I say it? Do I say as the Little Frenchman, or how's it onto your site as far as the books?
www.thelittlefrenchebooks.com. You got the
Little French Books by .com.
.com. Thelittlefrenchebooks.com.
You got it. Littlefrenchebooks.com. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I wanted to make sure everybody knew that. That is from littlefrenchebooks.com.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Marco. Thank you. And interesting, powerful trailer. I mean, it's a very serious trailer there, so it was in depth. And for those in translation to understand the concepts of this book. As a matter of fact, let me speak this to Graciano. Graciano, what the benefits that drives the reading of Wandering Souls? What are the benefits that you have that drives this book for your audience and readers?
El beneficio del libro es un libro de autoayuda, de encuentro consigo mismo, una preparación a la muerte y sobre todo el tema de la evolución de lo que es la memoria psíquica y espiritual del ser humano.
Well, it's a book of self-improvement, self-encounter, and self-help, and a preparation for death, and to help to the evolution of your self-conscious in spiritual terms. That's the benefit that you can get from the reading of Wandering Souls.
Wow, that's beautiful, beautiful. And the other thing is basically is that it doesn't do any conflict with any moralities or religious beliefs. Is that correct? There's no confrontation with it.
In the book, it's stated that there is a supreme being, and it's stated that the energy that moves that put the action, the whole universe is love.
Beautiful. Excellent, excellent. Yes, Graciano. I thought you may have something. Well, one of the things that, I'm going to ask you also, how did you come to write the book?
Sorry?
How did you come to write the book?
¿Cómo lo escribí?
Yes, like, why did you decide to write this book, this type of book, Wandering Books?
Yes, I understand. ¿Cómo fue escrito el libro?
Bueno, el libro fue por una amiga que tenía necesidades sobre cosas que le ocurrían en el tiempo presente y fuimos a las regresiones. Fueron muchas sesiones de regresiones en las cuales se fue ajustando, pero el libro tomó su propio curso. Y ahí yo viajé al pasado a través del libro y esos personajes del pasado viajaron al presente para resolver conflictos.
Well, mira, real. It was by the book, the motivation of the book to be written was the occurrence of a real fact. I mean, he had a friend who was looking for answers to what was happening to her at the time. She was going through premonitions, spells for clairvoyance, other inexplicable phenomena. So, in fact, she had health disorder. Then, through regressive therapy, he helped her to look for solutions. So, the past and the present were connected and helped her to heal.
Wow. Bueno. Very good. Yes. So, you know what? Actually, we're running out of time. We're going to our second guest. I'd like to thank you both for coming on the show. We all do. Thank you both for coming on the show. We'd like to see more of you again and more of your books as well. Graciano, are you looking to be writing any more books pretty soon in the near future?
Exactly, más regresiones, más libros en el futuro.
Sí, todavía están en proyectos más libros y ya el tema por espacio de muchos años lo he tratado, que son las regresiones y sobre todo como una terapia de alternativa para ayudar a la psiquiatría y a la psicología.
Well, the next book is going to be Regression from Death in order to explain an enigma. This is the next book, and he's writing more books. Well, what he wants to say, just to find for the last, is that this book means Wonder Souls, a travel through time, by subconscious, you know, in order to connect with the energy of the past to heal the present energetically. You know, it's not like you are going to buy a DeLorean and you're going to travel into the past. No, but it's not back to the past. It's back to the past, but by subconsciously, by subconscious. Is
Very
that
good.
the way?
Bueno. Incredible. Thank you. And I'd love to have you come back again. Thank you, Graciano, for coming on the show. Marco, you are astounding help and an excellent translator. So we'll be seeing more of you again, too, as well, coming up in the near upcoming shows, televised programs. So I thank you both for coming on, and I look forward to seeing you both in the future.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time and thank you for the opportunity. And I see you, if you want, at the book fair, New York.
You got
Right?
it. You got it.
Okay.
Talk to you soon,
Thank you.
Marco. Take care, Graciano. See you both.
I will.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And our second guest, his name is Andrew McCollister. And not only that he has written his first book, opening debut book, called Beneath the Surface. We'll be looking at his PSA trailer coming up shortly, and that he is a champion swimmer, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Andrew, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Steve. Thank you.
You know what? I want to open about your swimming. That's the first thing I want to do. So how you do? As a matter of fact, you've graduated from college, or are you still going to the universities now?
Actually, no. I graduated from college, I believe in 2015. Yeah, 2015. And then I went to grad school at Northeastern in Boston, Massachusetts. And I just graduated from there last year. So now I am on my own, working as an accountant, and I'm still a swimmer, like you said. I swam competitively in college, and then I guess I was crazy and couldn't get enough of it, so I swam for a club team in grad school. Now I'm doing masters. In fact, I just last week went to Masters Nationals, which was one of the cool experiences of my life. You got to see people ages range from 18 to 95 swimming. There were 95-year-olds setting records at that meet. It was truly amazing. It's one of the reasons why I love swimming. It's a sport that never gets old.
Wait a minute. I'm not ready to go, put the brakes on. You mean to tell me there is you said 95-year-old?
Oh, more than one. More than one 95-year-old,
Are
actually.
you kidding me? Still swimming?
We had a 90-year-old on our swim team, actually. I believe he broke 3 records.
Wow.
In his...
Yeah, well, it's a sport that does not damage your joints. It's one you can keep doing as long as you live, because unlike running, where it tends to wear down the knee joints or some other type of activities, swimming doesn't wear down anything.
Oh no, it actually helps you. It's a sport that really, contributes to your overall health, and people swear by it. My 90-year-old swimming colleague and friend actually said that he believes that's why he's still kicking right now, kicking butt.
Well, that's good. So what inspired you to write this book?
So what inspired me to write Beneath the Surface? Well, a lot of things. For those of you who don't know, Beneath the Surface is structured based on 5 different parts or chapters. So it's kind of like a compilation of 5 different short stories, but they're interconnected. They all feature the same main character, and they follow the main character, Connor, through many different facets and many different key events in his life. And one of those events is Connor coming to terms with his sexual orientation. And so that part is titled The College Experience. It's the second part or chapter in my book. And I wrote that one in college, actually, during my freshman year in a creative writing course, when I myself was struggling with coming to terms with my sexual orientation, when I was struggling with many things that many college students struggle with. And writing this story helped me understand more about myself and helped me accept myself. And though when I revisited it years later, I realized the story was incomplete. It needed a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it needed to not just be about Connor coming to terms with his sexual orientation, because that's just one facet of the character's life. It needed to be about more. It needed to be about Connor's journey and growth with the different relationships and experiences that he has, both romantic and non-romantic. And so that inspired me to write Beneath the Surface, which features a character that I believe many people, if not all people, can relate to and can help a lot of people see that they're not alone in their struggles.
So how would you describe your own sexual orientation?
So I know it's not always best to give direct labels, but if I had to label myself, I would define myself as gay/homosexual.
Okay, that's...
Well, one of the things I want to breaking this moment to encourage you that encourage others is that I'm going wow, I'm getting me teary eyed because that's one of the hardest thing to do is to have your own individuality without being mocked or ridiculed. Time and time again. But stepping forward, it's admirable. It's encouraging. No matter what, to me, it's encouraging. Okay. That you know what? I hope others that are watching this program see that they're not alone out here. That they can step out and step forward. A step of faith. And one of the things about is that there's those like you, young at your age, very successful. I mean, you're even an accountant. Not only you're an awesome swimmer, and you win against all odds, and yet writing a book in this magnitude to find oneself, you are an encouragement to others, and whether it is in that the gay facets or say the LBGT and those of different nationalities, different religions and origins. This day and age, we're in 2018. So, and going forward, and or people who has piercings in their ears, earrings, or, you have went beyond that to still say, what, I'm standing up, and you're not just standing up for yourself, but you are standing up for others. So I just wanted to say that I admire your courage.
Thank you so much, Steve. But it's something that has become so much more mainstream and acceptable in today's society.
Yes,
and
yes.
I'm proud that that I can even be here. That people become so much more accepting of people in the LGBT community, and that's one thing that I think is demonstrated in my book Beneath the Surface. You see Connor, when he does come out, he naturally there is some of the stigma, but he also finds a world that is much more accepting than he thought. A world that when he had the thought in his head of him coming out was a demon that grew much bigger than the actual event was itself. And so I think that that's something a lot of people can relate to. Even if you're not an LGBT member, there are several different events in people's lives that this happens, where people have to accept themselves and announce themselves to the world. And that's why I think that Connor's a really big encouragement to people.
Well, that's the one thing about acceptance to the change in the world. Acceptance, like I kept thinking about it. It says, on what I've been through when I was little, and they went from not religion but to nationality. From the streets of Philadelphia, and they let the dogs go. I was a little kid and stuff like that. And then, we all have our own little stereotypes. I'm even though that I'm grown, of grandkids, being a guy that's, I'm straight. You know what I mean? But I understood something. You have to accept change in the world. I think I'm still getting teary-eyed. That change in the world, and you brought that within your book when I was reading it, and looking through it. That there is change in the world. We have to accept it. If we don't, we actually perish in our own cocoon.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think you're right. And the truth is, Connor has to accept a lot more than just his sexual orientation. There are parts about Connor's own mental health. He has what many would consider to be a mental health disability. And I myself can relate to that. While I don't label myself as having a mental health disability, I
hope not, because you're swimming. But no, let me take that back. People with mental health can swim too. They can swim too.
Does he see me? Does he even know I'm here? Do I even want him to? What is he thinking? Why do I care so much? Who is he? What am I doing here? Why do this? What's wrong with me? What's him? What's wrong? Stop! Stop.
Not only swim, but we feel at peace when we're in the water. It's kind of like we're trying to control the world around us. But when you're in a pool or in a large body of water, that's one of the times when you can control what's around you. You can make the water bend to your will by swimming through it. And that sort of mentality, that sort of feeling of just moving through the water can really help relax you and give you a sense of control and just make you feel like these things in your life are going to be okay.
That's a very good explanation.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. We're close to the time on the show today. What advice do you have for others? Matter of fact, what advice do you have for others who have a story to tell?
So for others who have a story to tell,
Yes,
the short
yes,
answer
sir.
tell it. But I would say what I said before about how it can be intimidating to, for example, publish a book, that's that people shouldn't let stop them. You shouldn't let something stand in the way of a story that you're going to tell. I know that I was scared to death when I was going to publish this first book. I know, Steve, you probably remember that.
Yes.
But, if you never tell your story, you're going to regret it. I know I'm only 25 and I already regretted not telling my story sooner. But the other thing is that a story doesn't just need to be told through, a pencil, piece of paper, a laptop. You can tell it in any way you want by living the life that you want to live. Even if you don't get that encouragement from other people, if you know what is right for you, if you know the right career to go into, the right passion to pursue, the right sport to take up, then you need to do it. You need to not be afraid of what's going to happen, because the last thing you want is to look back on your life and regret not living the story that you wanted to tell.
Yes. Hey, before we go, I want you to, one of the things is I was going to ask you about how others feel about, reading your book, but you've got about over 8 5-stars on Amazon already. I mean, and your books are selling like hotcakes. So, the book's doing a great job. I mean, you've got great feedback, a lot of positivity. So it's not, it's the thing. Your book is good to read for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, actually. And I'm just letting that know also for the audience as well, is that your book is open. For those who, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Your book is readable for all of us. Am I saying that right?
I think you said that too. Thank you.
Well, then, one of the things here, I want you to tell us about the Cleveland, Ohio, called the Cleveland Pride. Tell us about that event coming up on June 2nd, which is your book signing on that time. You're going to be there.
I'm fortunate enough to be holding a book signing during Cleveland Pride, which will be June 2nd in Cleveland's Public Square from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And so during that time, there are going to be several authors who are going to be present that you can meet, shake hands with, ask questions, shoot the breeze, and of course, purchase a signed copy of our work. One of the authors worth mentioning is Ken Chinook, and he wrote LGBTQ Cleveland. So he's also going to be there. We're going to be just in the center of Cleveland Pride, and hopefully going to get to share our story with anyone who wants to take part in it. So I'm really looking forward to that event, and I hope that a lot of people come out, not just for me, but for all of the authors that we have there, authors and friends that we have there.
Yes. Bob?
Well, that was a very good interview. I'm impressed.
Yes, and thank you for coming on the show today. You know, it takes a lot of courage, and you are an encouragement to everyone. Keep going forward. Like you say, the event is June 2nd. And you know what? As you're going to the second book, I would like to have you come back on the show again as well.
Of course. And I want to say thank you so much for having me on the show. Thank you for the excellent interview. And thank you to the studio audience. I know I'm actually not able to see your faces, but I can tell that you guys are all beautiful people, and I'm just really honored that you took the time to hear my interview. So thank you. And thank you for...
Thank you.
You're very welcome. As a matter of fact, the audience, they're over here with their thumbs up. Everybody's got their thumbs up like this to you. Everybody's teary-eyed over here. Yeah. Well, you know what? Thank you for having us to be able to interview you. So thank you for that, and we're looking forward to seeing you in the near future. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
Take care. And for everybody else, you know what? We thank you for joining us this week with Graciano and Marco with the overseas with the Little French eBooks on .com, which is actually the publisher, and the translator, who is Marco. Graciano, who did Wandering Souls. So we went from overseas to, from over to back to the United States, and to meet up with an awesome champion in the swimming arena, and also an encourager, Andrew McCollister, with Beneath the Surface. So you know what? Do you have anything to say before we?
Oh, good interviews. That's what we had.
Outstanding. All righty then. So you know what? Stay blessed, and we'll see all of you in 2 weeks.
There's a place inside my mind unseen, dreams of you and I that just can't be, but I can keep them safe and locked away inside. In a perfect world where I control it, give me your heart there and I would hold it. But I know that just can't be reality. But please, don't you wake my daydream, 'cause it's so real it seems. Maybe someday I'll get my head from the clouds, but for now I'll just daydream. If you said to jump, then I will do it. Right into the fire and walk straight through it. If you knew, I bet that's just what you would say. I guess the only thing for me to do is never let you know just how I'm feeling, 'cause I don't want to know if you don't feel the same. It's a shame. Don't you wake my daydream, 'cause it's so real it seems. Maybe someday I'll get my head from the clouds, just daydream. 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 There's a place inside my mind unseen, dreams of you and I that just can't be, but I can keep them safe and locked away inside, inside. But don't you wake my daydream. Oh, so real it seems. Maybe someday I'll get my head from the clouds, but for now I'll just daydream. Don't you wake my daydream.